Welcome to the Farmers of Vineland dedicated server. It's a multiplayer server where we are playing the Supply Chain Crisis Challenge. I am the TheFarmingSims, and this is the September the 2nd, which means we've advanced through August, which was the setup month, and this is the first month of real gameplay. It's a continuous play server, so this is the first opportunity I've had to jump onto the map since we created it. We spawn in on our home property, which is here. It's a house that we purchased on the map and placed our sleeping trigger here. We've already placed some animal pens. So a part of the challenge is to place the 4 unique animal pens that come with the map. The map is East Vineland, New Jersey, USA by Mac Trucker 921, and this is his chicken pen. As you can see, we got chickens in August. We gave them a tiny little bit of food, which isn't even showing up in the tray there, but we only have 50 chickens to start with, but they will multiply quickly enough. Their gestation period is only 2 months, so within a year these guys will be getting close to the capacity of 500, and as you can see, they're already producing eggs for us, which is amazing. We also have the pig pen, which holds 350 pigs. So we put 35 pigs in. It's always good. I usually put my first set of pig animals in, which is 10% of the maximum, and that way 10 gestation or 10 births will max you out. But these are babies, these are piglets. Unlike the chickens, they're adults. We're just happy for these to move along very slowly and come to puberty, and then go through puberty into adulthood, and then start breeding. The main reason for that was the amount of pig food that we have now. We've placed a manure pit, and they're already producing a small amount of manure because there's straw in there. And I might take the opportunity here to show you the animal screen. So to start with, we've got 50 chickens in there, which are fully healthy and full production, and they're reproducing. They're halfway there, 1 month. Next month they will. What you can see full productivity, even though we only have base food and grain in. We don't actually have the sunflowers. And what we noticed is the breakdown for their effectiveness. That's a food breakdown for the base food, grain, and sunflowers to get maximum effectiveness. But as you can see, the productivity is already at 100%. So in reading the file notes for the map, so the base food is actually cracked corn, and then grain, which is any of the grains, that is wheat, barley, oats, or sorghum, any of those could make up that category. And then sunflowers is an additional one. Obviously, it makes up the last category. I believe that if we get sunflowers in as well, our productivity will be actually higher than 100%. But that's remained to be tested because we've only just started. Okay, so we have 35 infant pigs. So we've got time to get some pig food running. And at the moment, what I did was just purchased a couple of bags of pig food. And what that will allow is for all the players to see the ratios. So there's 4 group categories there, and they've been given the ratios, obviously. And they've also been given maximum amount of each food group that they're allowed to put into the pen. Murphy did a test where he filled the maximum of each category, and it's pretty easy to do, but we've never actually done it before, and it seemed actually quite confronting to take on manual feed of the pigs. But with a little bit of pig food in to start, that helps for one. And for two, with Murphy's test, he found that the base is 42,500 litres, grains is 21,200, protein is 17,000, and the root crop is 4,200. So in our Discord, we just post info like that to all the players, and they know that if they have some potatoes, which they say they've just harvested in a contract, and we have some left over, they can put up to 4,200 potatoes, and it won't exceed the maximum for each category. So that will make life much easier for us. And then we have adult sheep. Adult sheep at 25. I really wanted to go with 50, but I didn't want to spend the extra money, to be honest, because that pen can hold 500. But we've only got 25 to start with. But again, they're adults and they're in reproduction straight away, and they're so easy. It's grass or hay. And we cut some grass in August on our farm, just a small amount of grass, doesn't take much to make 88,000 litres of grass. And we baled it up, and we have plenty of grass there for the sheep to reproduce. And I think they will take 5 months to reproduce and have births. So that's the animals. Let's head down. So what we did is we own this field here, which was all just meadow grass in between the house and the animal pens down to the farmyard. And so what we did is we cut the grass, and then we ploughed it, and then we planted a cover crop. Now, because we have restrictions on the challenge, we can't actually buy any supplies between August just gone and August next year. So the supply chain crisis is that there's no deliveries. We can't get any new equipment or any supplies. So fertilizer will be at a premium, and so we've got we're going to do cover crops to provide us with our fertilizing states. So we put a good shed space in here for all the equipment. And we're also using bins. We're not using a multi-fruit silo. We're not even using a general grain silo. We're using bins, and from the contracts that we got in August, it was very important for us to run a few contracts in August. So so we could pick up a little. Well, I don't have. I need field info on. Let's have a look. Yeah. So we've got 8,200 wheat in that bin, and we have almost 5,000 oats in that bin. So wheat and oats were in the harvest cycle for August, and if we didn't do any work in August, we would have missed both of those crops. And the oats we can give wheat and oats to the chickens, and we bought one pallet of cracked corn to get them started. We bought 2 or 3 bags of pig food, and then we have the sheep down here. This is a custom sheep pen. It's huge. And one of the things we want to do is highlight the pens on the map. So this is a 500 head sheep pen, and as we saw, they've got 88,000 food, and there's 25 of them. Heading back around, we have a small workshop here, which is a wash and repair bay here. And we have a supply shed. Now, because we can't buy supplies during the year as you normally can, we had to buy supplies that will last us the first year, the first 12 months. So as you can see, we have a bunch of fuel there, diesel. We also have some herbicide there in the background, some fertilizer, a little bit of lime, and a little bit of seed, with another tank. This one's almost empty, 700. So we already used 1,300 litres of diesel in August, just doing a little bit of work and moving and transporting all of the equipment to the farm. So all of this was new equipment that we purchased in August. And instead of going through everything, 6 metre planter there, 7 metre header for the case harvester, we have a transport trailer over the back there, we have a small round baler, a tedder, a wrapper, these very small sugar beet harvesters. That's going to be fun. We have a couple of cultivators and a couple of plows. Over the back there we have a mower, a roller, a sprayer. It's all very small gear. It was all very cheap. To get all of this gear, we had to go with some, there's our seeder there, 6 metre case seeder, a little fertilizer spreader. We had to do some forestry work, cutting down a few trees. So we got a stump grinder, we have a log fork. This here is a topper, and I thought we might have needed a topper for our potato harvester, but we actually don't. And I noticed that there are no tractors on in the farm, and the potato harvesters and the trailer are missing, which makes me think the guys are already out doing a potato harvest in September. It's kind of crazy when you see the equipment we have. So let's just jump to the map quickly. Okay, well, I can see straight away center map, field 48. That's where everything is. They're doing a potato harvest. So we'll go and check that out. This is our farm with our cover crop. We own field 9, which is corn there. We don't have a lot. We have the sheep pen down the back here. We have the pigs, the chickens, the house. We've created a field here, and we bought a field here. Now, the land is very expensive on this map. For example, this farm plot cost $423,000. It would have actually probably been better if we just built the farm plot anywhere else, to be honest. But the game seems to assume that the structures and the buildings from a new farmer mode are still on there. I'm imagining that's why the block is so expensive. But yeah, so we bought all of this land, and we bought the equipment that you saw, which isn't all that impressive, to be honest. So jump out of there. So they're doing a contract. Well, while we're here, let's have a quick look at the crop calendar. It's slightly different than the standard. It is a custom crop calendar, and we're really interested to test out that canola. Is that a short run of canola that you can do 2 plantings a year, or is it a full calendar year that you can just start it in 2 different places? So that'll be interesting. We've got good weather today, so that's great. And contracts, they are 58% into a potato harvesting contract worth $18,000. We need that money. That's why they jumped on it. So they must have been busy. They've got almost half of it done. And they have a sorghum harvest and a plough field. And we have an extensive list of contracts available. A lot of contracts, but they're mostly small fields. You'll see that almost everything there, well, the ploughing, there are some $3,000 there, harvesting $8,000, but that's potatoes again. So potatoes are worth a little bit more. This one must be potatoes as well, 11,000. Yep. Now, we're not allowed to use the equipment for contracts. We have to use our own equipment, which makes it even tougher. Our productions, we purchased the debris crusher, which takes your stone and turns it into lime. We purchased that's on the map, and we also purchased the grain mill plus, which is on the map. It's a custom grain mill because it lets you do cornmeal and cracked corn. And I believe the oil mill is custom as well. It lets you do corn oil a number of ways, with corn and with cracked corn. The 2 farms is the township. We have to look after the township, and they are already losing money. We have to stop them from going bankrupt. It's called the Township Survival Challenge that we built into this multiplayer. And we're playing co-op on Farmers of Vineland. Okay, so I've just jumped down to the store, and if you have already seen my setup video, you would have noticed that we placed barriers around the fuel station to show that it is closed. You cannot purchase any supplies, you cannot purchase any fuel, and you cannot purchase any new equipment. However, you can purchase second-hand equipment, land, buildings, productions, animals. So everything else you can purchase, including second-hand equipment. But you can't get any supplies. So after starting and moving across to September yesterday, I realized that I forgot. Well, I didn't really forget to buy a potato planter. I forgot to add a very small 2-meter potato planter in the mod into the game. And it meant at the last minute, my only choices of purchasing a potato planter were the in-game ones. There's our harvester. But, and I featured that harvester in the setup video. But basically, I had the choice of a $46,000 planter. I was thinking about leasing it, because you can lease equipment as well, but you have to lease it from August to August. It has to be a 12-month contract. And so what I did is I looked at the cost of leasing it, because I didn't have enough money left over to purchase it. And in looking at the cost, it was $460 a month. So multiply that by the 12 months. It was going to cost about $6,000 for the workday, $1,000 up front, so we're up to $7,000. I was worried about the per hour cost in particular of $1,000, because potato planting generally can take quite a while. And I thought over the 12-month period, this could rack up to quite a serious amount of dollars, and I didn't really want to spend upwards towards $20,000 leasing this. Now, that would have been half the price of buying it. So it was definitely an option I could have taken, especially seeing the guys made $30,000 in contracts in August for me. And that was amazing. That meant that I had an additional $30,000. It was more than 30,000. It was almost enough to buy this. And theoretically, I could have bought this. But it would have been our last purchase, and I definitely could have leased it for around about, I estimate about $20,000, depending on how many contracts the guys took on. But they're generally worth a lot of money. The other problem we have with this is seed. It takes a lot of seed, and I would have said to the guys, you can't use seed for a potato planting, so we need to keep potatoes and then we'll use potatoes to do the planting. And that was our intention, especially seeing it's harvest season for potatoes right now. But I kind of messed up a little. And instead of leasing or buying that, I decided that the supplies up at I was really nervous about how much supplies we ended up buying. And at the last minute, I thought, it's not enough. So we spent some money right at the very end with more fertilizer, a little bit more lime, more seed, more fuel, more seed, more fertilizer. And I took us down to around about $10,000. There's actually some seed over the back over there as well, that we bought to seed the cover crop. But I'm really excited about this challenge. It's making us look at the game in quite a different way than what we're used to. We also purchased the little Massey Ferguson 711 skid steer loader, and there's a bucket over there if we need to clean up any mess down here. So the contracts that the guys did, I basically spent most of that money on these extra supplies. And I think we would have been in trouble maybe if I didn't. Yeah, so enough of that. But I'm really nervous about this, guys, if you can't tell. Excited, but very nervous about this is what we got, and that's all we can use. We are at the Diesel production plant. It was very important for me to get this in on year one. This is a production facility that is listed as recommended for this series, along with seed production, fertilizer production. Lime production is already on the map with the debris crusher. Omatama's farm supplies productions also recommended. So I didn't do as much landscaping as I wanted to, but I got it good enough anyway. I didn't want to spend too much on the landscaping, but we do have to get this up and running. This was not on the map, this was added. Well, here we are. This is our potato harvesters. We have two of them, single row harvesters. This is our top line tractor here, the AgroStar, 143 horsepower with narrows, a front hitch here, and also has a front loader. Very versatile tractor, probably the favorite of everyone. You'll probably find it's got the most hours on it already at 19.3 hours already on the Deutzfahr. Over here we have a little Ford. It's only 130 horsepower. It does have the turbo upgrade to get to that. Otherwise, I think it starts at about 100 horsepower. It also has a front loader, so very good farm tractor to move equipment and goods around. It seems to be a little better on the fuel as well, but we haven't used it as much. Looking at it here, 7 hours already on it. I'm sure quite a few hours have already been spent over here by the guys, it looks like. The third tractor is right down the end down there. It is the International, upgraded to a 1455 XL, has the front PTO on it. No front loader attachment, and I'm not sure it has I'm not sure it has a narrows as an option. This is wide tires, and we have a Lizard TX 130 trailer. 9 hours on this, and I think this uses the petrol up quite well as well, with 145 horsepower. But the township owns the bakery, the spinnery and tailor, and it also owns the sawmill and the carpentry. And we did chop a few trees down in August, and look at that. They already produced a pallet of furniture, 2,000 litres, and it's owned by the township because they own the production. So we can go and sell that for them, and they'll get the money. So the idea is that we don't have to join the township to do this. Any player can drop goods off at the township's productions, and they can also take them and sell them. And the township is losing about $5,000 a month in between interest, production, running costs, and they have a $3,000 a month tax using the daily deductions. So they're losing about $5,000 a month, and which means we have a clock of around about 10 months before they're bankrupt. I'll just jump back down to the store to see if there's anything else I wanted to finish off with. I have posted the Supply Chain Crisis Challenge on Cobbler's Discord, and I'll also post it on Rusty Money's Discord as well. There's a tight restriction on how much you can post on a single Discord message. So what I think I'll do is I'll post the challenge from a single player's point of view, even though we're not playing this single player. I'll post it there as a single player point of view, so just the supply chain challenge part. But the township challenge is built into it. That has to be multiplayer. So I'll also post a document. I'll post a document that explains the challenge in both parts in detail.